Here's a little update on Bella. She's doing pretty good. We're dealing with distemper if you haven't tuned in. I kind of want to put this video out for people who kind of live off the grid or in a really small town. There's not much veterinary care. You know, you can get the basic medicines, but then you're kind of on your own. Bella started with symptoms of an eye infection, and I've dealt with distemper before, but in the later stages where people brought me their dog and said, I can't watch this, or they're just left out in the yard to die. So I usually bring them home because I believe no animal or human should die alone if at all possible. You know, even if it's just care and love and knowing that someone's there. You know, it's a pretty scary event being that sick for any creature. So this situation here, I've never had a puppy that presented with distemper that it came on so slowly. So this puppy was in the collie. She attached herself to a little boy who gave her some water. She could see. Right now she's dealing with blindness, and she just adored that boy, except there was no food and the family could not take on another dog financially. The other dogs received tortillas and beans and they eat it just fine, but she's like a 7-week-old puppy. And I believe she was probably dropped off in this neighborhood. That's what happens when mamas have puppies. Sometimes they'll just grab them all and just drop them sporadically throughout a neighborhood to get rid of them. So Bella ended up on this street, and I saw that she was struggling and hungry, and so I started feeding her. She'd come around dinner time and then follow the little boy all day. There were a few instances where she was really dehydrated, so I gave her extra water. Noticed an eye infection developing, so I went ahead and treated that. Then I noticed a little bit of a rash on her belly. At this point, I still didn't know it was distemper because she was happy, she was energetic, she was eating well, she was drinking well. Then I started rubbing coconut oil on the rash and cleaning it proper when she was eating. She let me do all that. And then I noticed a little bit of sneezes here and there, and she was sleeping a little bit more. But then again, it was 95 degrees out with a 70 to 80% humidity, and all the dogs were sleeping all day. And most of the time she would only come around at night. Then she started getting sicker. So this is shortly after I got her neck guard, because she also was developing mange. And so I gave her the neck guard Spectra. And then we followed up with extra vitamins in her food. There's a vitamin paste that I use that's high calorie. And then I followed up with her parvo shot. When I thought she was doing well, I waited to see, you know, was she feeling good for a few days? Was she okay? And I thought, okay, well, parvo sucks. It's one of the things I can do by giving her the parvo, then the distemper, then just one by one. I didn't want to hammer her immune system with too many shots at once because she was a street dog. I don't know what her mama had. All that other stuff comes into play. And no, I'm not a veterinarian at all. I'm just an average Joe. Oh, was that good, Bella? She just got beef chunks and potatoes. More beef than potatoes. But, so, where was I? I didn't know, so I thought, let's give her the parvo shot first, and we'll go from there. Shortly after that, all her symptoms started freaking out. I think it was just too much on her immune system. Oh, there she goes. Yeah. And so I have a friend who said, hey, I have a safe place for her. It was a long hallway with an open screen door with air all day. And it was also where I worked. So I could check on her constantly, feed her, and make sure, you know, everything was okay. She started developing this really terrible breath and this green slime coming out of her nose, which I go ahead and keep some cotton balls in a tiny jar of coconut oil, and I go ahead and moisten her nose with the oil, which helps lift the crusty green mucus, because that develops really fast and clogs up their nose. And so I've been doing that, cleaning them on a regular basis, and I finally got her in to see the vet. The first vet I saw said we can only treat the symptoms, so that's what I was doing. When I noticed the really foul odor and the fact that there was some type of upper respiratory infection going on, she went to the vet. She got some really strong antibiotics, some amino acid. This is all intravenous medication for about 4 to 5 days, some only 4 days. A really heavy-duty antibiotic, a vitamin B complex shot, and then, oh gosh, what else was there? Something for her fevers, because she was getting them up to 103 degrees daily. They were just kicking her butt. And in between all this, she managed to have a really good appetite. I cooked for her, though. I took her off kibble entirely because she became so dehydrated, and we had her on an IV for like 3 days, making sure she got rehydrated while we were doing all this medication. Also, in her food, I would cook her liver and sweet potatoes and spinach, or liver and oatmeal and carrots, chicken and rice, and beef bits, sometimes like a part of a roast. I'd also give her raw bones with a lot of meat and fat on them, and the bone marrow, sliced real thin so she could get the bone marrow out. So what I was trying to do is build up her immune system, and the dry dog food is all right when they're feeling well, but I like, when they're this sick, I like cooking for them and kind of put the vitamins into the food. When she was really weak in the beginning, I would puree it to a fine mousse kind of souffle consistency. And as she started feeling better, I'd put chunks of food in that, chunks of meat. And as she started feeling better, I got her the bone to chew on, and, all that good stuff. So this is what I've been doing for Bella's distemper. She's got the neurological symptoms. Sometimes she'll walk in a circle with a tilted head. One of the other symptoms is a real crusty nose, which she developed, and I keep it at bay either with coconut oil, and when I have it, I'd rather use jojoba oil. I don't know how to say it, but y'all know what I mean. So I keep the nose moist. This helps, a lot with getting the mucus off of her. I also gave her daily massages with coconut oil to help with the mange, which she's getting all her hair back right now. We also, a month after the NexGard, which did not work for the mange, gave her Bravecto for puppies, for the lowest weight, because she was about 5.6 kilograms. Oh my goodness, you guys, I can't think and I can't talk, but I'm trying to get through this to help you understand what I did. So she's doing pretty well. She's still got blindness. Sometimes I think she can see shadows, and then other times I test her eyes and then there's nothing. It may resolve, from what the vet said, once she beats the virus. And yesterday and today are the first days without the antibiotics, so we're seeing how her immune system does now. She's pretty curious. She can smell now. She'll go around the whole yard and sniff everything. I've gotten my dogs to accept that she's here. I just couldn't bear leaving her outside. I have one female dog. We kind of have a problem with her. She does not like Bella at all. But she keeps to herself. I sat all the dogs down separately, and I had a talk with them, and they respond to that. they don't like getting in trouble, that's when they're like, yeah, well, screw you, I'm not listening. But if I sit down with each of my dogs and I explain that mommy needs to take care of this poor baby, she doesn't have a mama, she was on the street like you, especially my collie, she responded, and I said, just, if you don't like her, just stay away from her. There's been a few instances where Bella will walk close to her bowl, and she doesn't like that, her food bowl. But so far, so good. And there's some days that she's more shaky than others. It was hard for her to eat some days. That's why I made the puree, because it's easier to lick, because her head would bob up and down. And so I'm trying to think of all the ways to make her life more comfortable, for her to be at ease. She sleeps with me in the bed. And note, if you have any puppies and you have a dog with distemper, do not bring them home. All my dogs and my cat are vaccinated. They're older. And the virus lives for 90 days. It's in the house, everywhere. So I'm not worried about me, because it can't transfer to humans. And I just want her to know that there's love and comfort always. So if she wakes up in the middle of the night, I'm there. If she can't breathe, sometimes she'll have the backwards sneezels, I call them, where they intake air this way, if you've ever seen a dog do that. And it's pretty aggressive in her, and I think just because her neurological system is compromised. So these are the things that I'm learning, and some of the things that I've already learned. Some dogs make it, and I know there could be a second wave of infections that hit her. I've already got backup antibiotics. Also, we treated her with a medication that increases red blood cells. I've got backup on that. And then I've got 2 vets, one in town where I can take her for intravenous, suero for electrolytes, and to get her water levels up. Right now she's drinking well, she's eating well. I feed her about 4 times a day, because I've been trying to get her to put weight on. And she's pretty comfortable. She's still getting used to her blindness and bumping into things, but I'm trying to teach her that, arriba means up, and I pat the floor so she can hear it. I still got a little studying to do on how to help a blind dog. And I'm still looking for a special someone, because I've got 5 rescue animals already, and my house is like under 1,000 square feet. And it's a tight fit with all of us here, and a small yard. But worst case, I will keep Bella, because I love her, and she deserves to be taken care of, and we'll make it work. But if there's anyone out there and you want to follow Bella and you're interested, I'm going to try to get her healthy and over this hump of this disease. She's managed to hang on for almost 5 weeks, and the vet said that was pretty damn good. If a dog was going to make it, she's showing all the signs. And part of the signs, too, is like by their temples will cave in and be very squishy and soft. Right here. Right there. Yeah. The pads of their feet are not mushy or squishy. They're very hard. Their nose gets really crusted and dry. And then the blindness comes along, the blue shadow over their eyes. Lots of mucus. Some develop a cough. She did not. And just general being miserable. We like to still give her the coconut massages to help encourage her fur and her skin to heal. The Bravocto really took care of the mange, and she's doing really great. So I want to thank anybody that's reached out and helped me, taking me to the vet, at the last minute, and helped me financially with Bella. It's been a lot, but I think we can do it. So thanks for watching, and I hope this helps somebody.